like this man he has a wife, he has a child, and stuff like that. And even though you have that and how beautiful his wife and child was, it always felt like it wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? You ever get to a point where you have so much and you can have all the things that you actually want or ask for, and it still ain't enough. You just still gotta, always got the hunger for more. What is your thoughts on that type of mentality? Like, it's like you're so much. Sometimes people feel like they're so much of a loser that they don't realize when they've won. And I
Well,
noticed that in the movie too.
yeah, it's double edged on that, on a question like that, and on an answer like that, right? Because yeah, he does have a beautiful wife, beautiful child, and he was optimistic. But after that hurricane, she's holding up bills, yo. They months behind.
True,
So
true.
there's a chance that you're about to be beautiful wife and child in the streets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Uh, and then secondly, I think one thing that I strive to do as a filmmaker, right, is reveal situations to people, right, that they could relate to and understand. And through each character, I try to show that. So through
Mm,
Blink's character, it's more like you may have uh, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? You may have food, clothing, shelter, right? But do you got freedom, justice, and equality? You know what I mean?
so got you.
Do
See, you
you
just
got
hit it on the
that?
head with that. You just hit it on the head
You know
with
what I
that.
mean? So the point is, some of the freedoms that you have, like some of us, we all have freedom, but do some of our people in our community have economical freedom? No.
No,
Do some people
absolutely
have
not.
even spiritual freedom, right? You got some countries like one of the richest countries in the world is Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah,
They sitting on trillions of
trillions of
barrels,
yeah.
right? And yet they saying that women is feeling like, what I mean, they're not feeling spiritually free to express themselves. And I'm not talking about my Saudi Arabian brothers because I study Islam, but the point being made is that you may have economical freedom and don't have spiritual freedom. You may have
Mm,
economical and spiritual freedom and don't have political freedom. So now you take it over to a communist country where they got all the temples, they got all the money, but is you can't say nothing. No freedom of
mm.
press, none of that. So I think when you look at a man in our character Blink, he appreciates his beautiful wife and his son as you'll see in the movie, but he feels like, yo, it's a lot of things happening. They're rebuilding New Orleans, but what about the lower ninth? What about
Right.
us? We're the last ones to receive, and we are in the worst condition. So then, what your wife and your son, which are important, you lose that focus because you're now thinking about survival. I made it my business in the film, and I would love for the audience to watch this film and to
Yeah,
enjoy it.
July 31st. I gotta say that
Yeah,
again. July 31st. Please check it out and really see what he's talking about. Cause honestly, like Riz, like the way you breaking things down is gonna make people want to see it. But when you see it, there's gonna be some things that hit you. Like that's gonna make you be like, like I got that. And I like
respect.
July 31st, man. July 31st. That's
Come
all I'm saying. Go ahead.
what I want to point out is that you'll notice that before our character made the decision to go do something of a bad opportunity, basically because he had no opportunities before he makes that decision, I made sure he went and sat down and prayed by his son. And that wasn't in the original
Yeah.
script, you know what I mean? But
Oh.
I was like, listen, we're gonna do it for real for how a man like I would have do it. Like if I gotta do something that's crazy, yo, I'm gonna do it because I gotta do what I gotta do.
Right.
But at least let me go put that prayer on my child and prayer and hope I'll be forgiven for what I gotta do because I gotta do what I gotta do. And I wanted people to understand that a lot of young men, especially a lot of young black men, we become victims of circumstance. I had a good brother who who grew up with me, maybe at the age of from 14 to 18, we was MCs and hanging around each other. And then we went our separate ways, and he ended up getting into crime. You know what I mean? And he ended up doing 15 years in jail. You know what I mean? And when he came out, we had a chance to build about our different directions. And he was like, yo, at the end of the day, he was a nerd. You know what I mean? He could have been a computer geek or MC or artist or comic book writer or whatever. but the system and the circumstances he was in forced him to turn to be a thug. He wasn't no joke as a thug now. Trust me, he was no joke. You know what I mean? But that was more like the environment made him be that way. If he was able, if you would have left him in a place where he had food, clothing, and shelter, you know what I mean? And not on all the 12 jewels of life, which is knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness, he would have been one of those guys that could have created an app that would have been something great for all of us to improve life instead of being somebody who caused trouble in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. Like originally, like I'm from East New York, Brooklyn, and when I look back on the environment that I was in comparison to the environment that I'm in now, and just the major differences, I see where I was going and I see where the change happened. So you're absolutely right on that.